What's up, everyone? It's Chicks in the Office with Rhea and Fran, giving you that Friday energy on a Monday. Chicks in the Office is presented by e.l.f. Cosmetics, our new presenting sponsor. We both have loved this brand since we were young, and it's amazing to see how much the brand has grown and evolved over the years. We talked about that on our episode on Friday. You know, e.l.f. is that brand that, you know, when you start to make a little bit of money and you can get your own makeup, you venture into e.l.f. and it's affordable, but also really, really great products. I actually have my e.l.f. bag right here that I love. It's very convenient. It
That
says
bag is
real as e.l.f.
amazing. It holds so much stuff.
It really does hold so much stuff. It holds all my products. I was talking about the brow lamination that I use. This is right here. I love this because I love brushing up my brows. I need to get them done desperately, but what saves me in the meantime is being able to brush them up with this brow gel. I also love the Halo Glow Beauty Wand highlighter. I put this on when I'm finished with my makeup. I go over and add a little highlight to my cheeks so I'm a little glowy on the podcast for you guys. So I'm absolutely loving e.l.f. I've always loved e.l.f. Cosmetics, and we want you guys to love e.l.f. too.
Yeah, they're the best. And the products are so great. Like I said, it's high quality stuff. You see everybody posting about e.l.f. on social. Maybe you're on the beauty side of TikTok like I am. You see all these people. You want to try it out. It's worth it. The, Halo Glow liquid filter is amazing. It's as great as advertised. I really like, they have this putty color correcting eye brightener that is just like a little pink shade, can go under your eyes, brighten your eyes in the morning. So great. Can just go on the go. They also have amazing skin products. They have a hydration mask that I use like every morning, every night. Amazing, hydrating. And their cleansing balm for taking off your makeup. Also fantastic. Just melts that makeup right off.
I love a good cleansing balm because it just comes right off. You rub it all over your face and you feel clean, ready to go. Exactly. So right now you can learn more at elfcosmetics.com or on the e.l.f. Cosmetics app. And once again, if you're buying e.l.f., make sure you tag us on Instagram, tag us, tag e.l.f. We love to see it. We're loving all the products.
You know what I also just saw that's been like going viral is everyone talking about the e.l.f. Lash and Roll mascara. Everyone's on it. I saw like a billion TikTok videos about it this weekend. Everybody's obsessed with the Lash and Roll. It's amazing. I've tried it multiple times. It's a great mascara. So hey, run to those stores before it sells out because sometimes you go and you truly cannot find some of
e.l.f.
products.
e.l.f. knows what they're doing, and they've known what they're doing for years and years and years now. We've always known that. So make sure you learn more about e.l.f. Cosmetics and go buy your e.l.f. products. Tag us, show us what you're using. We love to see the new stuff. Make sure you show us. How are we doing? Happy Monday, everybody.
Hello. We're all okay. We're worried about you, my dear.
I'm a fallen soldier.
She went down hard.
It got me. COVID finally got me.
Yeah.
After all these years, I never tested positive, and it got me this weekend. Well, it got me on Thursday. So if you listen to the episode on Friday, you can hear me like sneezing and sniffling on the podcast. And at work on Thursday, I know I talked about it on Friday, I was like, I didn't sleep, I'm really tired, whatever. And at work, I was like, no, I'm like really sick. And you were like, I think you just need to go home and sleep. I was like, no, like this feels different. Like I think I'm actually sick. Sure enough, went home, tested positive for COVID. And man, it got me good. It got me hard. I was really, really sick all weekend, but I'm actually starting to feel a little bit better. I actually told myself, like, after I took the test, it was positive. I was like, all right, don't be dramatic about this. Like, just you're sick. It's fine.
Yeah.
And then I swear, like Friday, I was convinced it was the most sick I've ever felt in my adult life, which is possible. Like I was in a whole other universe. Like I that felt like a whole different person. But yeah, it's going around. It's going around hard again. So be on the lookout.
I know. We're all okay, shockingly. So that's interesting. But no, that's not good. Not good at all. Clocked up. Have you left your apartment in 5 days?
I went for
4 days.
Well, I was inside from Thursday, the minute I got home from work on Thursday, because I rushed out of there after we recorded. And then till Sunday. I didn't leave, and then yesterday
Just had to get some fresh air.
I just took a walk down the block and came back. Like, that's really it. The walk down the block made me exhausted. I was able to sleep like a baby after that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it sucks. I hate sitting around doing nothing. I really do. But I've watched so many episodes of Desperate Housewives. Like, Desperate Housewives is so good. I watched it when I was younger, when my parents would watch. There's a lot of shows that my parents watched on TV when I was younger that I definitely shouldn't have been allowed to watch with them. But for some reason, like, they never told me go to bed or whatever. Like, I just sat there and watched. Desperate Housewives is definitely one of those shows that I shouldn't have been able to watch, but I did. And now that I'm older and rewatching it, like, I definitely understand it so much more. I rewatched it like a little bit a couple years ago, but not as deep as I've been in all weekend. Fantastic show. Like, seriously, so underrated. I feel like it needs to have that resurgence.
Right. The kids got to start watching it.
Yeah, people got to pick up on it because, damn, it's a fantastic show.
I actually never watched it. I fall into that category of like, I shouldn't have been watching it and I wasn't. Like, because I don't think my mom never really watched it. So that I didn't even really know too much about it because no one in my house was even watching it.
Mm-hmm.
But I would love to jump into it and try it.
You would love it because
what can you stream it all?
Hulu, and you would love it because it's basically everything we love about a teen drama except adults.
Yeah, no,
I mean, like,
I've seen,
everything that goes wrong in a high school, except in adult world, and they have kids, so it's like covers all bases.
I've definitely seen like TikToks of people being like, can we talk about how crazy Desperate Housewives was and like the things that would go on. But no, Joe and I have actually talked about watching it because Joe has actually seen all of Desperate Housewives because he watched it with his mom when it was on TV.
That seems to be the general, like, I posted it on my story this weekend. I said I was rewatching and everyone's like, oh my God, I watched with my mom when I was younger. Like, I have to go back and rewatch.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think that he was basically saying the same thing. He was like, I would definitely go back and watch it now. I've never seen it, but I would like to watch it.
Fran, you would love it. Like, I know I tell you to watch certain TV shows that you will never watch, like Dance Mom, Survivor, like a whole bunch of other ones. This one I would put at the top of the list of like Desperate Housewives is perfect for you. It's
I can add it to look.
But it's also
too much on right now.
It's also one of those things where, and I'm realizing this because when I was watching Sex and the City, not that I want to go back to the times where TV was week to week because that's torture.
Yeah.
But I also get why it captivated people for so long and why it still does. Like, like Succession, we would watch week to week, and Game of Thrones, all those, like, those are just the two that come to my head, but there's a bunch of shows. Because when you watch shows like this, like, you binge watch them, you start to get pissed off at the characters. Like, you're just like, because it's too much at once sometimes. Where you're like, oh my God, stop being a stupid bitch. Like, when
there's like not too many seasons to you really like fall deeply into it.
Right. And you just are watching too much. You're getting too much of them. Where you're like, oh my God, this is so why are you repeating the same thing that you did like last season? Like, why do you keep making the same fucking mistake? And I noticed that with Sex and the City, that I was getting frustrated with the characters because I was just watching too much at once. Yeah. So although, I mean, I couldn't do anything but watch TV this weekend, I'm trying to take it slow with Desperate Housewives because it really is so good. But I don't want to get to the point where I'm like, okay, because I got the same way with Suits, where it was like, all right, okay, Harvey's mad at Mike. Like, where, like, this is, I'm getting too much of it. So that's where I'm at. And yeah. Whatever. How was your weekend?
It was great. I was at a wedding. One of my best friends got married. It was the first time one of the girls in the girl group got married. So that was really exciting, really fun, beautiful wedding. Just no complaints, start to finish, just stunning. She looked stunning. And it was a beautiful day. Thankfully, like the weather was kind of iffy. We thought like we were worried for a second. It drizzled lightly during the cocktail hour, and then stopped. So we were like, I think that was it. Other than that, it was smooth sailing. So that was beautiful, amazing. It was that what this weekend, the weekend after Labor Day, I think is maybe the most popular wedding weekend that exists.
You think so?
I think so. I think I am just basing off talking to people and invites I have gotten. Like I was invited to 3 weddings on September 9th.
Oh my gosh.
And I've been last year I went to a wedding the weekend after Labor Day, like another one, there's multiple weddings. I just feel like it's in September, but it's still warm. So people want that time. And it's just, it has to be the most popular time. Joe and I were at 2 separate weddings because one of his best friends was getting married. And I was at Elizabeth's wedding. So we were separated, which always sucks. You know, weddings are so fun when you're there with your partner. And it would have been our first be going to a wedding as an engaged couple, which we haven't gone to yet, but we will next weekend. So I'm looking forward to that. But my friend Madeline's fiance was also at the wedding Joe was at. So Madeline and I were dates, which was we had a great time. It was a lot of fun. And then back to the city because football's back, you know. Eagles played sloppy game, but I won't get, don't have to talk too much about it, but they still won, so that was okay. But it was that first Sunday where all the games are starting is also a great Sunday as well. So all around, great weekend.
Let me ask you something. Do you find Red Zone to be like what's the word I'm looking for?
Oh, Marty blogged about it. Chaotic, like too much, like.
Oh, he did. Okay, yeah. Because I was like in and out of sleeping and he had it on.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, like it's kind of all over the place. And he was like, yeah, I'm writing about, I didn't know that he posted it, but he was like, yeah, it is like, it's chaotic, but like you have to keep up with it all. Yeah. And I was like, it's like you get into one game and then it bounces to another.
I don't mind it at all. I love Red Zone. I think it's the only way to like really, unless you, I don't know. Now all the games are on YouTube TV. So that's an interesting development because it used to be DirecTV Sunday Ticket. You'd have to get it through DirecTV. Now it's on YouTube TV. I mean, DirecTV gave you these options as well, but people seem to like the interface more on YouTube TV. But the Red Zone is still Scott Hansen, still the guy. I will say I think Scott himself seemed a little frazzled. Like his jumping between the games is normally a little bit more calm. So he was jumping all over the place. Now, personally, I always kind of preferred Siciliano. He was the guy that would do DirecTV Red Zone, which was different. There was like 2 guys that would do Red Zone. But now, I don't know, DirecTV Sunday Ticket like doesn't exist. So I don't even really know how that went. But Scott seemed a little frazzled. Other than that, it's like
maybe he was maybe it was just because I was sick that I was like, oh my gosh, there's so much to keep up with.
Yeah. I mean, I fell
It's not my first time watching it.
No, I know. I fell asleep.
It just hit me yesterday.
I fell asleep for like 45 minutes with Red Zone on. So it's still like kind of soothing.
It's like napping background
it's
music
just,
for me.
Yeah. It's just the sounds and sirens of football really go jumping from game to game. And when your team is not playing, obviously it's frustrating if you're trying to watch your own team playing on Red Zone. Like if the game's not in your network and you're trying to like stay along with just Red Zone, that's super frustrating. So it's obvious. Like if your team's not playing, it's better.
Yeah.
But that was did you stay awake for any of that Giants game? That was tough.
Well, Marty had to go to the office to stream the Giants game, so I went back to watching Desperate Housewives.
Yeah, so I mean, it's super fair. You did not miss anything.
Wasn't going to keep you know,
it looked miserable.
wasn't going to keep the football games on
Yeah.
alone. But let me just say, what an angel sent from heaven that man is.
Yeah.
I truly don't know what I would have done without him this weekend. Like, you would have thought that I could not be capable to exist as a human being alone without him this weekend.
I'm sure he took very good care of you.
Amazing angel, like, can't express it enough. Like, especially on Friday, every 5 seconds, I either needed a hot rag on my head or a cold rag on my head. Like, I just couldn't stop. Like, I was like, I am so, and he just is such an angel. Like, he was just the best person all weekend. But I was like, man, you would think that I am not capable of existing by myself after this weekend. Sometimes when you're sick, that's what you need.
Hey, totally. You just want someone to take care of you.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't even matter what level of sick you are. It's just like,
no,
you just feel a little needy when you go under the weather.
Right. Just a little sniffle gets you there.
Yeah, exactly.
All righty. Let's get into the topics for today. A lot of stuff happened this weekend, and honestly, they're not really great things. We're going to be talking about the Ashton Kutcher, Mila Kunis letters for Danny Masterson. That's a whole mess right there. The article about Jimmy Fallon's toxic workplace. The article about Martin Short not being funny. We're going to get into that. Chris Evans is married to Alba Baptista. That happened this weekend, intimate wedding. And Joe Jonas addressed the divorce rumors at his concert at Dodger Stadium. And we have a great game of trivia. So let's get into it, starting off the topics. Tomorrow, September 12th, is the MTV Video Music Awards. They are live tomorrow, September 12th at 8/7 Central. You don't want to miss music's most iconic night. Every single year, the VMAs, you have to tune into. You get to see all of your favorite artists in one setting, great performances, and you don't want to miss Demi Lovato's 6 years in the making return to the VMA stage. Plus, this year's video vanguard, Shakira, will bring the house down with a career-spanning performance. Everybody loves to watch Shakira perform. She's always captivating the audience. We all know that. And Diddy takes home this year's Global Icon Award, but the party does not stop there. Who's going to take home Moon Person of the Year? Is it going to be Doja Cat, Miley Cyrus, SZA, Taylor Swift, Sam Smith, and Kim Petras? Who knows? That's why you got to tune into the MTV Video Music Awards. They're live tomorrow, 8/7 Central. Watch on MTV. Once again, the MTV Video Music Awards are live tomorrow, 8/7 Central. Make sure you tune in. All right, let's start off with talking about the whole big mess with the That 70s Show's cast, because it's not just Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher, the mom and dad of That 70s Show. They're also involved in this. And the biggest one of all, Danny Masterson, after his rape conviction, he got 30 years and for life. It was revealed that Ashton Kutcher, Mila Kunis, Deborah Rupp,
30 years to life is what was the sentencing. Yeah, okay.
Deborah Rupp, Kurtwood Smith, Mila Kunis, Ashton Kutcher, and David Traynor all worked alongside Danny in That 70s Show. They wrote to the court and to the judge about what they thought of Danny's character, basically asking for leniency for his sentencing. And each of these letters were dated between July and August, and he was convicted in May. So knowing that he was convicted, and on this past Thursday, he was sentenced to 30 years to life, they still wrote these letters trying to tell the judge what they thought of him as a person and how, they didn't see this in their lives with him. And it's all just a bunch of bullshit, and honestly just upsetting to see from people that you love Ashton Kutcher, you love Mila Kunis, you love these people, this cast, right? And then you see this, and it's really upsetting because for somebody to be convicted and accused of such horrible things, you would think they would have the thought process to go, you know what? Maybe this guy that I've known as my friend has a side of him that I don't know.
Yeah.
And therefore, I should probably keep my mouth shut. And that is not the path they took.
It's really just a super complicated scenario where you're Ashton and Mila. Like you said, I don't really understand the thought process here. They wrote basically with the hope that his sentencing would be lessened. So I know that there was confusion. It wasn't like they wrote to him. It's not like they wrote to the court to support his innocence. It was really to support a lesser sentencing, knowing that this had happened and that he was convicted. And I know that, Ashton and Mila had referenced his child is saying that like his daughter doesn't deserve to like not have her dad for such a long amount of time, potentially, the rest of his whole life. And it's crazy to think that you would sit down and be like, this is a good idea. I'm going to do this. They were asked apparently by his family. They said it was a personal request, and that's why they did it. But at a certain point, I would think that like Ashton and Mila, they have their own children, they have their own family to look after. Like when it gets to the point where this guy is convicted and going to jail for a long time, why jump in any way? And then, they put out a video this weekend of the two of them under a minute, super quick. Like, yeah, we did this. We support victims. And, that was kind of it.
The video was so bad, like genuinely shocking watching this video.
Yeah.
Because
it's reading a script.
They were clearly reading off their laptop or their phone or whatever they were looking at. And also they were basically like, we just thought no one was going to see these. It wasn't like, oh, we're sorry we did this, we now understand. It was like, oh no, we're sorry that we got caught. We didn't think anybody was going to read these or be able to see them, which is just insanity. And some of the things they wrote in there, it's like, Ashton Kutcher wrote like, I do not believe he is an ongoing harm to society. It's like, oh, because he's your friend, like that doesn't mean that he's not. It's just hard to wrap your head around like why they would do this and why they would continue to support him. I don't care if it's your friend or whatever. Like when somebody is convicted of such awful, horrible things like this, like you don't support them no matter what. It's done with. Like I don't get it.
Mila did not look, not that you'd be like smiling in this video as you make it, but people were like, oh, she looks pissed, like blah, blah, blah. But it's just, like you said, a situation where they probably didn't think that this was going to be publicized. And then it is. Now everybody's talking about it. The life that Danny Masterson has led and was involved in, I think, beginning of that 70s show, post that 70s show, like just weird shit too. Like the whole Scientology thing is dark, and you hear people comment on him from like the Scientology side of everything. He's had his ex who was dating him around the time of the beginning of that 70s show. She has been extremely vocal. She has been involved in this case. She has been a witness. They have just kind of been more openly talking about the dynamic of how everybody was. It's opened up a conversation of, Mila Kunis was 14 when the show started and Ashton Kutcher was 19, and bringing up old resurfaced interviews and all these things. So of course, like now everybody's going to dig into past things that they have said when they were really young. You can either freak out about those things or sometimes try and like look at that in the sense of like this was that was also a long time ago. But Ashton and Mila, I don't know, it's hard to really put yourself in this situation. And looking back at those old interviews, it's just it gives like a creepy vibe watching it back now. You know, not skinny but not fat. Amanda, she's been posting about all this stuff too, and she was posting her stories like, you try and gather all the information, you flip flop, your opinions change. This changes with the more information you get, and you jump and you kind of are so confused by what's going on. And she had said, like, do we trust Mila's judge of character that she did end up marrying Ashton Kutcher, but then it's like, what happened to her? What happened to Mila when she was younger? Was that some traumatizing? There's so many layers to this that we have no idea because we're just not involved in their actual lives whatsoever. We just obviously have this letter that was written in support of Danny. And now this is when stories come out of like, well, this is how they were like, this is what they were like on set. And Ashton and Danny would team up, and Topher Grace was never really involved. And, Danny was mean to Topher and Topher didn't like him. So there's all those stories about like when they were really on set. And Chrissy, Danny's ex that was around during that time, she was reposting stories of, Topher's never liked Danny. Danny treated him badly. He was always given shit for it. She wrote, Topher was bullied by Danny Masterson and isolated by most of the cast because Danny's like a cult leader. Danny hated Topher because Topher didn't bow to Danny like his other young castmates. I loved Topher. If I so much as said hi to Topher, I would be given a scolding and then ignored by Danny. It broke my heart. He was the only guy on set with integrity and a moral compass. That's my experience. I was there. So she's sharing those stories. And Danny Masterson has always, like she said, referenced him as like a cult leader, which does really feel that way, which makes it kind of like scary to think too that they would just blindly write these letters in support of him like that.
Yeah, the whole thing is incredibly like creepy and weird when you really dive into it. The Scientology thing runs deep because a lot of these people were a part of the Scientology church. And so they were silenced due to the fact that you could not go to the police about other Scientology members. And then once they were able to leave the church, then they were able to go. So that was a whole other layer to this. The whole thing is just like very creepy and weird. And it goes back like even further where the people that were involved, a lot of people that are involved in this were a part of Scientology and a part of that church, and people were silenced because they were not able to, like in the rules of Scientology, you're not allowed to go to police authority about somebody else that's in Scientology. It's like all these crazy rules that restricts and silences a lot of people. And then once these victims were able to leave, they were able to speak out about this. And so that's a whole other layer. And then with Deborah Rupp's letter, she wrote about how Danny was like the leader of the kids and, would have these anti-drug talks with them and would sit them down and tell them, drugs aren't good. And we saw in Mila and Ashton's letters, they were, talking a lot about how, he really, strayed them away from doing drugs. And it was like a lot of talk about that, which I found to be kind of bizarre in general, because it was like, what, like we're focusing on this in this letter, and why does that make him a so-called good person? Like, I just feel like now that we are learning so much, he was maybe doing these things under the disguise of being good, and there was like a lot more evil underneath there. I just feel so like confused by all of these people's actions in defending this man who was clearly awful. His ex wrote, and I just had it up. His ex, Chrissy, wrote on her story. This was like the first post that she wrote after the letters. She wrote, "Dear Ashton, I know the secrets your role model keeps for you, ones that would end you. Did you forget I was there? You were on speakerphone that night you called Danny on February 21st, 2001. I heard everything. I heard the plan. In my opinion, you're just as sick as your mentor. Dear Mila, I pray you begin to process what you experienced as a child on that set. Your old interviews are very telling. I encourage everyone to watch them, decide for yourself what you hear and see." Because now that you mentioned, like when you go back and you see those interviews, they're strange. And there's, Ashton Kutcher talking about bets with Danny about sticking his tongue in Mila's mouth, and they're laughing about it. But Rosie O'Donnell's like, somebody gonna come arrest you. Like it's all very weird looking back on it now. And she wrote, "Do so before they get scrubbed from the internet. I also know what happened in Toronto and after. Question, if that's what you view as a normal relationship with a big brother figure, then I feel very sad for you. And I hope you consider getting into therapy. You all must forget I was there the whole time, first 5 years of that 70s show. I remember everything." So I think a lot went on this set that is now coming to light. And you also mentioned Topher Grace. He wasn't necessarily, involved. And now it's apparent, or seems to be apparent, as to why he separated himself from the rest of the cast. This whole thing is crazy. It's disgusting. I think it leaves a very, very bad taste in everyone's mouths. Especially Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher, who were very well liked. People loved them as a couple. People loved their story.
Yeah.
And now when you dive a little deeper into it and you see the real truth come out and you see this other side of them, not good.
Yeah. And it's just one of those things too, where you do a bad thing. Like you writing these letters, they write the letters. Everyone freaks out that they did this. And it causes the spiral of, well, now let's make sure, like, now that this happened and there's no doubt about it. We know it happened. Here are the letters. We're reading it. We know that they did this. Let's go back and discuss and bring up everything that could potentially make these people look like bad people. And so when you just line it all up and then you start to reference, like, people are going back to Demi Moore's book where she was talking about Ashton and being married to Ashton, and old, like we said, the old interviews, old stories. They're going back to the the night, that crazy story of Ashton Kutcher going to pick up a date and the girl was killed. Like, it was a serial killer incident. Like, there's just been a lot of digging now into things that he's done, where when you put it all in a row and you're reading it all one after the other, it's obviously very it's very influencing. It makes you feel a type of way about these people and what they're doing. And it makes you question, like, really what the intention was behind doing this. Now, like, were they really gonna think that this was just not gonna come out, that these were like gonna be sealed letters? Now, who knows? Maybe they didn't do their research and Danny's family was like, no, please write these letters, like, don't worry, no one will ever see them, like, we know that for a fact, like, just in order to get these letters to be written. Because it's almost worse to, like, decide to do it when you know nobody's gonna see it. Because it's like you're not really standing behind your actions. It's like, yes, I'm going to write this, and I know everyone's going to know about it, and I'm still going to write it because this is how I feel. This is like, oh, let's write it, and no one's going to find out, so it'll be fine, and we can still keep our image, and it'll be totally fine. Because I don't know if they would have done this. It's like, this is a very, very difficult thing to stand behind. And like you said, the video that they posted does not help at all. There was not a single, like, convincing moment. I know Mila referenced the work that Ashton has done with like child trafficking and things like that, which is great. It's great he does that work, but that doesn't just like negate when you do bad things. Like, it's not like, oh, well, I know he did that and he shouldn't have done that, but you know, he does some good things. It's like, well, that doesn't, you know, it doesn't equal each other out. So, really crazy story. Wish did not happen at all. Because if you have been following the Danny Masterson case, it's been going on for a long time. This conviction took a long time. The stress that these victims have to go through to even go through this process of going to court and sharing sharing these stories with the world and actually getting a result where it feels like the victims were heard, and then to have these letters come out just completely, I think, would completely hurt them in a way where it's like, no, this happened already. The judicial system, he was convicted, he's being sentenced. Like, now you have to worry about people trying to jump in for him to get a lesser sentencing. It's crazy. And I did just want to read what Topher Grace's wife wrote on her Instagram story this weekend. She said, to every rape victim that is re-traumatized by witnessing society debate and focus their attention on what is going to happen to the rapist, I see you, with the heart emoji. I thought she worded that extremely well. That, you know, to have this conversation now be like, not about what he did, but, oh, he did it, but now, like, maybe he shouldn't go to jail for that long. It's like, what?
It's crazy.
Crazy.
The whole thing is so insane. And I just feel so bad for, you know, the victims involved who are finally, like, one of them wrote, like, I was finally able to sleep at night and now this happens. So it's just extremely fucked up, and it's not going to be good for them.
No, it's
going forward.
Game Time is the exclusive ticketing partner of Barstool Sports, and it is created by fans for fans. Game Time is the ticketing app that makes it easier than ever to score last-minute deals on tickets to sports, concerts, and shows, and they guarantee the lowest price. There's a ton going on now in fall. There's a bunch of Jonas Brothers shows in December when they're back in New York. I know that there's one potential conflict, but we are getting through that. But if you are going to one of those shows, or you want to go to one of those shows, check out Game Time. Football season also just started. Maybe you want to head to the game last minute. You're looking for tickets. You don't want to pay an arm and a leg to go to a football game. You can all check it out on the Game Time app. It has the biggest last minute price drops. And you can find seats you thought you could never buy. They'll even credit you 110% of the seat price if you can find a better deal elsewhere. You can also get limited time discounts with exclusive flash deals. The purchase process takes just 2 taps and 10 seconds. And once you buy your tickets, they're delivered directly to your phone. No printer needed. The app also allows you to easily share tickets with friends via text, so you can get into the game seamlessly. Skip the hassle and enjoy the moment. Download the Game Time app or go to the website, enter your email, and redeem code CHICKS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. So one more time, download the Game Time app or go to the website, enter your email, and redeem code CHICKS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply.
Moving on to something a little bit more lighthearted. My guy, Martin Short, was dragged through the trenches this weekend. This poor guy, like, my goodness. The Slate, somebody on the Slate wrote, an article.
Yeah, and Dan Kois, Kois.
And it was called...
Wrote an op-ed for Slate.
Right. At 5:40 a.m. on September 8th. Why so early, Dan? He wrote, "Why We Keep Putting Up with Martin Short" was the title.
Yeah.
And in this, he just went on and on to call him exhausting, sweaty, and just desperately unfunny.
Yeah.
When I tell you that felt like somebody just fucking poked a dagger through my heart, even
It was a really
even the
bizarre
brightest
article.
stars, even the brightest stars,
Yeah,
people try to bring him down,
it
okay?
is true.
My
That
guy
is true.
Martin, he can't be brought down by this guy Dan, who wants to call Dan. You know what I bet you are? Sweaty and exhausting and desperately unfunny. That's what I would describe you as, not Martin Short. I think many people who have met you have probably called you that behind your back. Okay, Dan? Not my guy Martin. And now everybody had to come to Martin's defense. Obviously, if I was feeling well enough, I would have been, leading the charge. Ben Stiller, like,
Yeah.
when has Ben Stiller tweeted? Ben Stiller jumped in and he had to put out a tweet about Martin because he was being just torched, and he wrote Martin Short is a comedic genius, end of story. And then you had Adam Devine step in and he was like, what, like, I forgot what he wrote, but it was something like, why are we debating this? Like, why is anybody debating the legacy of Martin Short besides this sweaty, exhausting, unfunny Dan man?
It was just like a really bizarre article to write, because it's one thing if you want to talk about, I don't know, like people in our generation of comics, pick somebody out, to have that debate. Martin Short is like Ben Stiller said, comedic legend. What reason to go after this man? And it really was a bizarre. It really was like a bizarrely written article also, because it was like it started off with all these heavy adjectives of how unfunny and terrible Martin Short is. And then it kind of went into like, well, maybe if I got to sit down with him, I wouldn't think he's boring. But like he went through his movies, his TV shows, like basically being like, this failed, this wasn't funny. This was like, it just felt really like a bizarre personal attack on Martin Short for no reason. That's an opinion that's like, hey, if you're not really a big fan of Martin Short, fine. You don't really have to watch any of the stuff that he's in. To write an op-ed about how unfunny and terrible he is really felt kind of creepy.
It just was like just an attack on Martin Short's character that didn't need to happen.
I know. No, so
it
unnecessary.
Just didn't. It was so unnecessary.
Look,
that this man woke up one day and was
maybe he got the result he wanted. He was like, I'm gonna write something so crazy about a man that everyone loves, and it's gonna get all the clicks because everyone's gonna be outraged.
Yeah, it just felt like he woke up one day and was like, I'm gonna pick Martin Short. Why Martin Short out of all people?
I know.
I don't know.
And who just seems like good guy Martin Short also.
Right. Like it's like he just picked a man that was minding his own business, having fun with his show, and yet we got to tear him down. So Dan,
really weird.
You are the enemy now. And everybody came to bat for Martin Short. And you got that little taste of fame that you wanted. Your little unfunny, sweaty, exhausting self, Dan. How about that? Moving on. Another article this weekend. Inside Jimmy Fallon's workplace. Okay. Now, this has been... This is Rolling Stone. It was called Chaos, Comedy, and Crying Rooms Inside Jimmy Fallon's Tonight Show. Now, there have been rumors for years now about Jimmy Fallon and the workplace. Yeah. And, is Jimmy Fallon drunk every night for the Tonight Show? Who knows? Yeah. Is it just wacky Jimmy Fallon?
Yeah. I feel like every few years a story like this comes out.
Right.
Like every few years somebody writes a piece on the behind the scenes of the Tonight Show. And every single time it's like, that doesn't seem like a great place to work.
Mm-hmm. And you have to be subscribed to Rolling Stone to read the full story.
Yeah.
But the first line is, it was a particularly tense day on the set of The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon. It's like, oh, okay, that this is not starting off as a great article right off the bat.
Yeah.
And
Yep. He had to apologize to his whole staff. He did
right.
like
And this
on
is,
a Zoom
right
meeting.
up Ellen DeGeneres' alley where, people are going to start speaking out when you're not running a tight ship.
Yeah. There was a story in the article about how he snapped at somebody while with Jerry Seinfeld. Jerry Seinfeld was he was being interviewed, and that Jimmy had snapped at I want to say like the cue card person, something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, Jerry Seinfeld put out a statement, was like, this is just a completely different way than I remember this. So like Rolling Stone reported that during a taping with the comedian Jerry Seinfeld, Mr. Fallon had scolded a staff member. He was holding a cue card. The article went on to report that Jerry had forced Jimmy to apologize to the employee and that other staff members had described the moment as uncomfortable. Jerry Seinfeld sent a statement to Rolling Stone after the article was published, and he wrote, "This is so stupid. I remember this moment quite well. I teased Jimmy about a flub, and we all had a fun laugh about how rarely Jimmy is thrown off. It was not uncomfortable at all. Jimmy and I still occasionally recall and laugh idiotic twisting of events." So, there's always a different interpretation of a story, right? Somebody off to the side, another worker, maybe the person who was himself or herself holding the cue card, experienced that in a different way than how Jerry Seinfeld felt in the other seat experiencing that story. But no, it's really stems down to what feels like Jimmy has always had this rumor around him to have kind of erratic behavior, that you just don't know what Jimmy you're going to get. Some days at work, he's great. Everybody loves him. He's awesome. Some days he's terrible. It's awful. It's, a terrible place to work. And that seems like it's jumped back and forth from this erratic behavior. And, he's apologized to his staff and said, I feel awful. I don't want people to feel this way and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, I think that also, like you said, Rhea, goes back to the rumors of like, oh, Jimmy drinks a lot, and what that factors into all of this. And so I don't know, because like I said, every few years a story like this comes out, we all talk about it, and life goes on with Jimmy Fallon as the host of the Tonight Show,
Yeah, I feel like also people, and I'm being like careful how I word this, because obviously if the people that work there are like, yeah, we're not being treated right, that's one thing. Like all the people that are getting mad for the people, you know what I'm saying? And like they're like, nah, it's cool. And then that's why Jimmy Fallon is going to continue to be the host of the Tonight Show.
Right.
Because unless what happens to him, like what happened to Ellen, then he's going to continue being the host.
Yeah.
Like with Ellen, it was like everybody who worked at Ellen was like, bad. Ellen is bad.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's interesting.
It's just wacky Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah.
That's what it just.
I was surprised that he's had 9 showrunners since he started. That's insane. Like,
yeah, I mean, also I feel like these people get a big head, right? Like he's Jimmy Fallon. He has a ride at Universal. So, like they get a big head.
And I imagine that's a hard it's a hard show to do too.
Right. It's like, and they just like think they can talk to people however they want. And they forget that these people also like have a voice and can be like, oh, that was kind of fucked up that Jimmy Fallon like did that to me or treated me that way, because they're just in their own world running their own show that,
Yeah. 9 showrunners is a lot.
but
like, what's the average amount of time for a showrunner on a late night show, Like how many has Kimmel had?
I feel like Kimmel keeps it like all in the family. Like he has like all his family like working on his staff.
No, I know, but I mean, it's not a family member who's the showrunner.
I know, but like definitely, I mean, Jimmy Fallon started in like 2013, and if he's had 9, that's like,
it's a lot.
So
That's definitely a lot. So That's for sure. Yeah, there's always feels like there's drama at the Tonight Show, but
There's drama with all these late night shows.
There are a lot of people who are taking the other side though, where it's like this is like a job, and it's not all like fun and games. Like you're gonna get yelled at.
Yeah,
Like this is like a high pressure situation. Like Jimmy Fallon is like one of the most famous people. Like he's under a lot of pressure. Like he's not just gonna be like super nice to everyone. But
which I kind of get to an extent, right? Like unless they're like, you stupid fucking, like, you know what I mean? Like if you raise your voice a little bit because something got messed up, not raise your voice, but like stern.
Yeah.
I think that there is something to say where like, it is a job. Like people get yelled at work, like if they do something wrong.
Yeah. I think that those types of shows are a very high stress environment. However, you don't hear about any of the other late night shows having any issues like
this.
But
I feel like you do.
I mean, James Corden, I feel like you heard.
Corden, Ellen, I feel like it's
Ellen.
Corden, I mean, Ellen's not, I meant late night. I meant late night talk show. Ellen's a daytime program.
Yeah,
She's a different story. Corden, yes. But then like that's what
Jimmy Kimmel?
Conversation. Does it come down to the person? Does it come because those people were personally attacked? Ellen was personally attacked. James Corden was personally attacked. Like, is the problem with the show and who are working the show, or is the problem the host? Like, is the problem Jimmy Fallon? Because I've never heard about issues with
Colbert,
or Kimmel, or John Oliver.
Yeah, Conan seems like a great guy.
You know, have you listened to any of the Task Force 5 or whatever they named it, the podcast that the late night show guys did for the strike, to raise money for the strike?
I don't even know about that.
Oh, really? It was actually funny. I've seen clips on TikTok. I listened to the first episode. It's John Oliver, Colbert, Fallon, Kimmel, and Seth Meyers.
And they're just talking
and it's just the five of them, like just talking about life, you know?
That's kind of interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're not taking any money. The money is to help. The money's going to like SAG and the writers. And yeah.
Also, I wonder, like, is Jimmy Fallon's ratings have like gone down? I think like he used to be number one. He's not number one anymore? I don't think in late night. I feel like Colbert took that spot from him.
That I do not know. I do not know. It's also hard to tell considering they haven't been live in months.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the show there hasn't been a show at all. Drew Barrymore is bringing her show back.
I did see that.
I saw. She said that they'll still be like complying where they're not talking about TV and movies and stuff, but that they've agreed to bring back their show. Just interesting.
Jimmy Kimmel was number one. I mean, like the last time it was like,
that I think that makes sense.
Yeah, I feel like he's been around the longest, but
yeah. Okay.
All right, moving on. Enough about the articles.
Chicks in the Office is sponsored by BetterHelp. Do you ever find that just as you're trying to fall asleep, your brain suddenly won't stop talking? Do your thoughts start racing right before bed or at other inopportune moments? It turns out one great way to make those racing thoughts go away is talk them through. Therapy gives you a place to do that, so you can get out of your negative thought cycles and find some mental and emotional peace. Therapy is great. I think anybody could benefit from therapy. Maybe you've been in therapy yourself, or you know other people that have been in therapy. Just the benefits, I think, outweigh any con. You know, you can talk about anything. Maybe you're in school, you're struggling with school. Maybe you're in a relationship, you're struggling in your relationship. Maybe it's just, you know, you just want somebody to talk to about life. Therapy is awesome. So if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Get a break from your thoughts with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/office today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/office.
Chris Evans and Alba Baptista got married this weekend at a private wedding ceremony at their home in Massachusetts. You know, some stars were there, Robert Downey Jr., you know, the big ones. But it seems to be a private, intimate gathering, and people all over are very upset about this. But I'm very happy for Chris Evans, and I'm very happy for Alba. I feel like, you know, Chris Evans, he wanted to settle down with somebody, and he found that person.
This is one that is, you know, everyone's gonna be a little salty about, because everybody loves Chris Evans. And Chris Evans was a single guy for a long time. He's very private, but he is also, I think, the stories around Chris Evans' dating life is like, yes, he's dated celebrities, but he's also dated regular folk. So maybe you got a chance.
People really thought they had a chance with Chris Evans. Exactly, I'll tell you that much.
Exactly. So he has ended up getting married. They have been together for a few years now. I think they kept their relationship very private at the beginning. He has shared more and more about it. I will say I wasn't completely shocked because the headline came out Sunday night, and I wasn't completely shocked because there have been rumors about this. There's been rumors on Dumas that they were like already married, and then there were pictures posted. Somebody sniped an Avengers dinner or lunch happening at a restaurant around Boston or in the Boston area, where it was like Chris Hemsworth, Jeremy Renner, Robert Downey Jr. like all sitting at a table. And it's like, why would they be having a meal all together in Massachusetts? Obviously Chris Evans not there. So it's like, okay, put two and two together, that it feels like it would be something for Chris Evans. And that's exactly what it was. The man got married. There's NDA signed, phones were taken away. So obviously super private. I'm sure they wanted to be as private as possible. But yeah, Chris Evans has always seemed like a romantic. Like he said, he's wanted to find the one and settle down, and he has settled down with Alba. Big, you know, people pointed this age difference to a little bit. It's a kind of it's a little similar. It's a similar Nick Viall, Natalie age difference. He's like Chris Evans is like 42, Alba's 26. So
yeah, that seems to be a topic of conversation. You know,
it always is.
It always is. And you never know how to tackle it.
Yeah. Like at the end of the day, people are going to be like, oh, that's a big age difference. How does that work?
Right. And then you're like, if it works for them.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. So they, I wonder if we'll see anything from this wedding. My guess would be no. Like, they don't seem like have like a magazine feature type couple post wedding.
No, it seems to be very private.
Yeah. Like sometimes phones are forfeited and stuff because there's going to be like a Vogue spread or something that comes out. Yeah. No. I think these two it'll just stay private.
Right. Which I find to be really nice. They're like, oh, we just love each other. We want to get married, and we're just going to do that very privately. So I'm happy for them. Listen, exactly. I'm not going to be mad at Chris Evans.
Yeah. Not some big crazy ordeal either. Like, you know, they weren't in Europe or some crazy bit. So just hometown wedding. Very, very fitting for the Massachusetts guy, Chris Evans.
Mm-hmm. Who would have saw it coming?
Yeah.
All the people that are very upset at Chris Evans did not. Last topic, quickly, Joe Jonas addressed everything on stage.
Yeah.
He said, if you didn't hear it from these lips, don't believe it, which has me very confused. Because does that mean we shouldn't even believe the divorce? Because I know
they did post. He did post about the divorce. So
right.
Post.
Right.
The one thing he did post was that they are getting divorced.
True. Totally forgot about that. Yes. Okay. Yes. Phew. Because I was like, okay, I am very confused now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess he said if it's not coming from his mouth, don't believe it. They all say that, you know. They all say that. They all say, oh, I didn't say it. You know. So, but I think he just wants the nonsense to just stop. They're going through it. he doesn't want whispers, and he said if it doesn't come from his mouth, then don't buy it.
Yeah, it's exactly what we said when we talked about this last week. It was like, it's such a big story. There's going to be 9 million articles written about it. It's become a meme. All weekend long, people were posting memes of like, TMZ reports Joe Jonas couldn't reach the top shelf and filed for divorce. Like they just made like all these jokes at their expense because there's been 9 million stories. TMZ ran a story on Friday that was like the Elvis in Vegas that married them, shocked that they like, it's so ridiculous. So the stories are just going to keep coming. I mean, look, seeing the emotion makes me very sad. Like he said that right before he sang Hesitate, and he looked emotional. And I it also makes me sad because everyone's like, he's drunk, blah, blah. I'm like, give the guy a break. Maybe he is a little drunk on stage. He's going through a divorce. It's all over the press. Maybe that is the case. And like, also he is a very emotional performer. I've said that already, but that was very sad. There's all these videos on TikTok from this show. Somebody was filming his parents when he was singing the song and looked like their mom was getting, very emotional. Papa Jonas was hugging her. It's just like everybody's clearly very sad about it. Joe, Nick, and Kevin, I feel like are obviously being very supportive and are hoping to be that backbone there for him, because obviously they have a long tour still, many months left of performing and singing that song. The song's been stuck in my head for like a full week now, which is also unfortunate. Like I just see all these videos, and then Hesitate is just completely stuck in my head. But I don't know. It's a tough one, and now I'm just sad. There's no like hard stance. It's just makes me sad. The one highlight of this was that they played a couple Jonas LA songs at this show, which you guys know every time we go to LA, I make you guys listen to LA Baby. LA Baby. She's a.
If only you were there.
No, it doesn't. Remember.
No, even when you texted, I was like, what does that mean? LA Jonas. I thought it was
Jonas LA was their
Jonas
TV
LA.
show.
Oh. the one that was just called Jonas.
Yes, but then they also did a Jonas LA.
Oh, like an LA.
They had multiple TV shows.
Because they did Jonas LA. And they sang it, which was shocking to me, and I was very jealous. I would have loved to have seen a couple Jonas songs performed. They
did it for you, and they knew that you would see it.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, we got to give the people what they want. We're in LA. We're doing a Jonas LA song. But yeah, no, I don't think like. I felt like I was even surprised Joe did that. Like, I was even surprised Joe said even addressed it at all. Kind of felt like he was going to never say anything, but like it was a very chaotic week. And Joe, I don't know if he maybe has changed this since obviously his name being all over the internet, but it always seemed like he was pretty in tune with what was going on the internet, like that he just would see popular stuff and see things. So I'm like, is he seeing all this shit? Is he seeing all these stories, or is he trying to stay off?
Oh, he's definitely seeing the fact that
he's seeing it.
Sophie Turner had to break out the stool for him to step up and grab things out of the cabinet. TMZ reports.
Right. The memes were really just really ridiculous, and that's what happens when there's 9 million stories written. So yeah, sad. It
is sad. But yeah, maybe that liquid courage got him to say that on stage. Maybe he was listen, I'm just going to say this. Yep. But all right, that wraps up the topics for today, and we're going to get into a great game of trivia. We're about to play a great game of trivia, but first, do you think your friend is the ultimate life of the party? If so, nominate them and you could win a Pink Whitney New York City trip. One lucky winner will receive an epic New York City trip for them and 3 friends, complete with a tour of the Barstool office. 10 secondary prize winners will receive Pink Whitney party packs with everything and your crew needs to take your shot and throw the ultimate house party. Easy to enter. Just go to pinkwhitney.com to enter your info. Nominate your life of the party friend and describe how they always make the party next level for a chance to win the ultimate Pink Whitney New York City trip. And of course, make sure to head over to your local bar and order some Pink Whitney, or pick up a bottle of Pink Whitney at your local liquor store. Enter for your chance to win the ultimate Pink Whitney New York City trip at pinkwhitney.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another game of Beat Rhea and Fran. This is game number 91, and we are joined by Katie and her lovely mom, Lisa. They are matching with a beautiful fuchsia color.
Fuchsia.
I
don't get to say that word enough.
No, we don't.
It's a great word.
And I wish I was wearing fuchsia right now. But it's matching the vibes of our studio. Purple, colorful. So we appreciate it, and we appreciate you guys joining us today. So thank you so much for coming on. We're excited to play.
Thank you. We're excited. Yes.
Love a mother-daughter duo. Okay,
Yes.
so super easy, 15 questions. If you get the question right, you get the point. If you get the question wrong, the other team can steal the point. Whoever has the most points at the end wins. To determine who goes first, Noah's going to give us a movie. We're going to individually guess the Rotten Tomatoes critic score. Everyone gets one guess. We will alternate guesses, and whoever is the closest will get to go first. So, Noah, what is today's movie?
Today's movie is Grease, a classic.
So one of you throw out a guess first.
87. Jesus. I love that.
I love the urgency.
I'm going to go 96.
I feel like it's really good, but I'm going to go 63. Right in the middle.
I'm going to say 57.
Lisa is the closest. It's 77.
Ooh.
Nice. All right.
All right, so you guys are going first.
Okay. Question number 1 to Katie and Lisa. Shout out Chandler from Louisiana. In the show Ted Lasso, what was the word written on the yellow poster that assistant coach Nate made and hung in Richmond's team locker room?
You didn't watch this, did you?
I didn't catch up.
Believe. Final answer.
Correct.
Damn.
All right.
That's all I need. One, and I'm good. I feel better.
Off to a hot start.
You never know with those because if you didn't watch the show. Then...
Yeah, I never
yeah,
seen.
yeah.
Well, I
Yep.
watched the first season.
Okay. Question number 2. It's 1-0. Katie and Lisa. Shout out Elizabeth from St. Louis. What does Tess say that Mitchie and Caitlin stole?
Shit. I know
10
this.
seconds.
No. I'm not gonna remember. Shit.
Time is up.
Yeah, I don't even have a
Don't
guess.
know.
Okay, to Katie and Lisa.
It's either a bracelet or a necklace that her mom gave her, but I don't know if it's bracelet or necklace.
Give it a guess.
I'm gonna say necklace.
Incorrect. It's actually a bracelet.
Yeah, it's
so you're
bracelet.
right.
As soon as you said bracelet, I was like, oh fuck yeah, that's
I
it.
should have
That's
gone
it.
with my gut because I thought
Yeah.
bracelet. You guys
Close
were
call
thinking-
with the jewelry.
And then
Could
I
be either
doubted
one.
myself.
Yeah, her famous mom.
Yeah.
Charm bracelet.
Yep, charm bracelet.
Okay. Still 1-0. Katie and Lisa. This is question number 3 to them. Shout out Nori from Scranton. What does RuPaul say to let people know they've been eliminated on Drag Race?
I have no idea. What's something he would say?
This is not my.
Yeah,
15
Welcome.
seconds.
I have no idea. Bye, bitch. Like, I don't know.
This is good.
5 seconds.
Bye, bitch. That's gonna be my guess. Bye, queen. I don't know.
Incorrect, but I like it.
Yeah.
I've never watched. I have no idea.
I don't know either.
You've
But
never
like
watched?
maybe like you've been through.
Have you?
No, but I just thought that you guys would have.
Turn your wig in? I don't know.
Or like you've been dethroned.
I have no idea.
I don't know either.
I don't even. Beep. Incorrect. What's the answer?
Sashay away.
Oh no.
Oh, I actually have heard that.
I've
would
heard
make
that.
sense.
I've heard that.
No,
Okay,
not ringing any bells with me.
still 1-0. Katie and Lisa. And this is question number 4 to Rhea and Fran. Shout out Desiree from Boston. What does the JK stand for in JK Rowling?
Oh, God.
There's classic question.
Fran's gonna know it.
Oh, I don't know.
I have no idea.
No.
10 seconds.
Jane,
5 seconds.
Joanna,
Yes,
Time is up.
Joanna Keller.
Incorrect.
but yes,
So Katie and
Joe,
Lisa.
because they call her Joe Rowling, but I don't know what the K is now.
Joanne, what? What's the K?
I don't know.
Joanne. Kelly?
Catherine.
Joanne Catherine.
Yeah, sure.
10
Jane?
seconds.
Joanne Catherine Rowling.
So close. It's Joanne Kathleen.
Oh, that's my name! Shit! Oh.
We're
All right.
so close.
Damn, close.
Yeah.
Wait, your name is Kathleen?
Yeah. I go by Katie, though.
Oh, interesting. I would have thought it was Caitlin.
Yeah, a lot of people do. Or Catherine.
Okay. Still 1-0. Katie and Lisa. This is question number 5 to them. Shout out Gabby and Molly from Lunenburg, also known as the Team Murray Girls, if you remember.
Mm-hmm.
You're good friends.
Yep.
Okay. Name what actress is in all of these movies. Neighbors 2, Ocean's 8, Crazy Rich Asians, Jumanji: The Next Level.
I'm thinking Aquafina.
I mean,
I don't know if she's in. Is she in Jumanji? I didn't see that.
But
She's in Ocean's 8.
She's in Crazy.
Yeah, and she's in Neighbors too.
Okay.
But I just have never seen
I
Jumanji.
haven't either, so.
Alright, Aquafina. Final answer.
Correct.
Yes!
Nice.
Right.
Nicely done.
I like those questions. This is
Yeah,
the
I
second
like
one we've
them.
done.
It's like a puzzle.
Yep.
Yeah. 2-0. Katie and Lisa. This is question number 6 to Rhea and Fran. Shout out Christina from Connecticut and Courtney from New Jersey. What venue do both brides dream of as little girls in Bride Wars?
The Plaza.
The Plaza.
You knew that one.
Did we not have this question already?
Correct. No, it was a
No.
different Bride Wars question.
The Plaza.
All right, on the board. 2-1. Katie and Lisa. Shout out Callie from Denton, Texas. In the Taylor Swift song, The Last Great American Dynasty, Taylor writes about the woman who lived in her Rhode Island house prior to her. What is the woman's name?
Do I need a first and last?
Just a first.
Rebecca. Final answer.
Correct.
Bless you.
Sorry, guys. I'm a little sick. I apologize for my sniffling and sneezing.
That's okay.
Correct. 3-1.
Give me all the Taylor Swift.
Rebecca spelled in an interesting way.
Yeah, it's
With a
like
K-A-H.
with a
Yeah.
K-A-H. Yeah, it's weird. But I
Just
knew
listen
that.
to that.
Okay.
Yeah. I just played that for you the other day.
Nice. All right. 3-1. Katie and Lisa. This is question number 8 to Rhea and Fran. Shout out Victoria from Winnipeg. In Modern Family, Phil Dunphy writes a book of life advice that he gives to Haley when they drop her off at college. What is the name of the book?
I'm just not a Modern Family trivia
No.
gal.
Nope.
I catch the episodes on cable
Yeah.
lately, but I don't know any specifics.
And I tuned in and out.
Yeah.
Some seasons I watched, some seasons I didn't.
Same. It was really just a cable television show to me.
I
should
have no
rewatch it.
I have
It's
no
so good.
idea. The early seasons are very funny.
Yeah.
Nothing.
I have got no.
Okay,
Nope.
to Katie and Lisa.
This is a tough day.
Is it like philosophy? Like it's something to play on his name? I don't know. He's done a bunch of good.
Philosophy
I don't know if it's that
of
or not. Yeah.
I don't know.
Philosophy of life or something like
10
that.
seconds.
No, I don't know. That
You
would
gotta
be
go
like
with your gut.
something like
'cause I don't know.
philosophy of life or something. I don't know. Final answer.
Correct.
Wow. Hey.
Phil's awesome. Phil's awesome.
There you go, Lisa.
Okay.
I'm useful
Wow.
for one.
You're useful for more than that.
That was impressive.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know the older stuff.
Yeah.
The movies.
Yeah.
Okay, 4-1, Katie and Lisa, and this question is to them. Shout out Elizabeth from St. Louis again. In Friends, What song did Ross sing to his and Rachel's daughter Emma to get her to laugh for the first time?
Is this to us?
Yes.
Big butt. I like big butts.
Oh,
And I
really?
cannot lie. Yeah. Is that what it's called though?
I can't.
Is that what it's called? Is that the title? Big butts?
I think so. I don't know. Close enough. Yeah.
I don't know if that's the name of it, but it's that big butts. I like big butts.
Incorrect.
It's baby got back.
Oh,
the
that
song.
one. Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's it.
Honestly, I wouldn't know the name of that song. If someone was like,
Yeah,
you know,
I don't know.
I like Big Bucks, I'd be like,
Yeah, but when you play the whole thing in your mind and then
Yeah.
you get to the baby got back, then
Well,
you remember.
Yeah.
Baby Got Back was
if I kept
big
going, I would have.
in my household because my sister memorized every
Word.
word. And then when we were at a communion, they had to go up. Like there was like a competition where it was like go up and like sing every word to a song. And my
At
sister
a communion?
at a communion, my sister requested Baby Got Back,
Scandalous.
and they got disqualified.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
She
for a
was
communion.
younger, but yeah, it disqualified.
Well, she and yeah.
we were. I
Anyway.
remember it so clearly.
okay, 4-2, Katie and Lisa. This is question number 10 to Rhea and Fran. I'm going to play a movie clip, and you tell me what movie it's from.
All right, you want the truth? There was a part of me that wanted to see what it felt like to have someone like you look at me the way you did just once. And I'm sorry. Truly. If I could rewind the past week, I would.
So
it's Jennifer
it's
Lopez.
it's J-Lo.
Is it Monster-in-Law? Is it the wedding
I think
planner?
it's maybe Made in Manhattan.
Okay.
Monster. I don't think that quote didn't sound like Monster-in-Law to me.
All right.
To have someone like you look at me for like that gives me Made in
Well,
Manhattan.
Oh, okay.
15
Because
seconds.
in Monster-in-Law, it's, he's like,
Yeah.
10.
I
Okay,
kinda
go
wanna
Made in Manhattan.
Okay, Made in Manhattan.
Correct. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, 4-3, Katie and Lisa.
Oh shit, it's a close one.
Oh no, you're getting close.
Question number 11 to them. Shout out Kennedy from Akron, Ohio. What is the name of the song that Haley and Chris write together in One Tree Hill?
I don't. I literally texted my friend earlier today, and I was like, "I pray to God there's no One Tree Hill question." I have no. I never watched it.
Everywhere. Isn't there something like something?
And Chris, they write together.
I don't know. I saw some of them.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. Final answer.
Incorrect.
I don't know.
I can hear it. Something with stars? Fuck.
15 seconds.
Shooting stars.
Yeah. Shooting stars, final answer.
Incorrect.
I don't even
You were
think-
close with the stars. When the stars go
When
blue.
the stars go blue. Honestly, in my first gut reaction was stars are blind. And I was like, that's a Paris Hilton song. When the stars go blue. I knew that.
All right.
Tough game for your girl.
Still 4-3, Katie and Lisa. This is question number 12 to Rhea and Fran. Shout out Felicia from Streeter, Illinois. In SpongeBob SquarePants, what do the letters in fun mean in the fun song that SpongeBob sings for Plankton?
Well, it changes.
What?
Like there's multiple verses of the song. F is, it's got to just be the first one. F is for friends who do stuff together. U is for you and me. N is for anywhere and every time and all down here with my best buddy.
Or Deep in the Big Blue Sea.
Deep in, whatever it is. I don't think that part matters. It was just what does fun stand for? That's final answer.
Correct.
Yeah.
That was so easy.
That was I had Deep in the Blue Sea, but you got both versions, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought it was just like I
F
looked
is
it
for
up.
fire that burns down the whole
Yeah,
town. U
there's
is
a
for
couple-
uranium
there's a couple-
bombs. N is for no survivors. That's Plankton's verse.
Yeah.
Okay.
Plankton.
Hey, I caught up fast. All right.
Tied up at 4. And this is question number 13 to Katie and Lisa. Shout out Nicole from Burlington, Vermont. In the movie The Hangover, what animal do they have trapped in the bathroom, and who did they steal it from?
Lion?
No, tiger.
Tiger. They stole it from Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Tiger stolen from Mike Tyson. Final answer.
Correct.
Yep.
I always mix up lions and tigers.
Okay, 5-4, Katie and Lisa. This is question number 14 to Rhea and Fran. Shout out Rachel from Chaska, Minnesota. In Hannah Montana, what is the catchphrase of Miley's bodyguard, Roxy?
Roxy like a puma.
You used to say that all the time.
Correct.
Yeah.
Same.
Honestly, we used to say that like when I was kid.
Yeah, Roxy like a puma.
Oh, yeah.
Roxy like a puma.
All right. Tied up at 5. Question number 15. Whoever gets this wins,
This is
or we
the
go to
third
overtime.
question.
Yeah. And
Okay.
this is to Katie and Lisa.
No pressure.
Shout out Becca from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Why did Jax go to jail in season 4 of Vanderpump Rules?
Oh my god, I should know this.
You just were there.
I know, I just met Jax.
So
Oh
sad.
my god.
Sounds like an entirely different story.
15 seconds.
For fighting someone, like physical. I'm rewatching it right now. I'm back on season 1 and I don't
5 seconds.
know. For fighting, public intoxication and fighting.
Incorrect. To Rhea and Fran.
He stole
Stole
the
the glasses.
sunglasses. We had this question. It was like,
Wait,
why
what?
did we had the question where it was like, what brand of sunglasses did Jax have?
Yeah.
That,
But he stole sunglasses.
but he stole sunglasses. You know what? No, it was on Sheena's podcast where she asked us what brand of sunglasses did
Correct.
Jax steal
Correct.
when he got arrested.
Yep.
So it's
Yep.
sunglasses. It wasn't this trivia. It was
stolen,
different trivia.
stolen sunglasses.
Correct. And you
Oh
guys.
my god, I'm so mad.
Damn.
right now.
If that was our trivia, I would have made another question.
And here's the thing: if we
Yeah.
did not have that, if I did not have that in the back of my mind, I would not have remembered that. That's why he got arrested.
I did remember that, regardless of that.
That was a
question,
close
but
one.
Wow.
Wow.
That was a really close game.
That was a good
Nail
one.
That was a
biter.
good one, guys. That was
My
really
friends will be
good.
so disappointed in me for that last question.
No, but they'll be.
You know what? You
They'll
threw
be
out-
proud that you got a lot of the
And
questions right.
you throw out a guess that could have certainly
Easily
been
been the answer, right? Yeah. Thank you
I
guys.
have to shout out my friend Molly. She was gonna do this with me, but her brother's getting married tomorrow, so
Oh.
my mom stepped in, even though she wanted to do this before anyways.
Well, congrats to Molly's brother.
Yes.
Shout out Molly. And thank you, Lisa, for playing with Katie. We had a blast. You guys were great. And we'll never forget that Modern Family question you got right out of nowhere.
Yeah, me neither.
she's a big Modern Family watcher.
That's amazing.
I got to go back to the books.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for playing. And if you get the chance, can you just send Noah your address and sizes and we'll send you guys some merch.
Awesome. Thank
Yeah.
you so
Thank you
much.
guys.
Thank you so much. So
Thank
nice
you.
meeting you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
All right, that wraps up today's episode of Chicks in the Office. Thank you guys so much for listening. Reminder that tickets for our live shows will be on sale tomorrow. We'll be posting the link everywhere so you guys can go and buy tickets. Today tomorrow. Sorry, this is coming out on Monday.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow on Tuesday, the tickets will be out and the link will be available. Thank you guys so much for listening. We can't wait to see you guys at the shows. We love you and we'll talk to you on Wednesday.